And now the continuation of Black Widow, A Tale of Two Widows. This is part 2. That was disturbing, Fury said to Natasha. Agreed, she answered. Whoever that was, she fought like, she took a deep breath, like me. More and more, Natasha couldn't shake the feeling that she knew whoever was behind that mask. They're sure that Black Widow is behind the missing tech, Tony told Natasha the next day. He sighed. This isn't a great look for the group, Nat, Steve added. Natasha reeled. I'm doing my best, she replied shortly. We know, Nat, Iron Man said, confused by her tone. We didn't mean, but Natasha ended the call. She'd heard enough. She had to figure out who this person was and clear her name. Suddenly, the door to her room burst open. Natasha leapt up. The other Black Widow was back. I told you to leave, the imposter grunted between blows. Natasha threw her assailant into a huge mirror. Crash! It shattered. They flew into battle at the last moment. Natasha reached out and grabbed the mask off the woman's face. Natasha gasped. Yelena? Natasha said, shaken. Yelena Belova had been like a little sister to Natasha back in the Red Room, where they both had been raised and trained. Natasha had defected and joined the Avengers, but Yelena had stayed loyal to the Russian government, and apparently she had been made a Black Widow, too. Yelena? Natasha began. It's been so long, but Yelena didn't want to be friends. She wanted to fight. I have my orders, Yelena said coldly. Natasha dodged her blow. Yelena kicked at her knee, and Natasha leapt into the air. Please, Natasha started, but Yelena unleashed a sharp kick that caught Natasha off guard. Oof. Natasha picked herself up. Now she was mad. She flew at Yelena, twisting under her swing to land a sharp blow to her ribs. Ah! Yelena yelped. Natasha ran halfway up the wall and leapt backward, her feet aiming for Yelena's head. But Yelena dodged just in time, throwing her momentum behind a kick. The fight seemed to go on and on. Natasha wasn't used to working this hard. Usually, she was the best fighter in the room, but Yelena was a Black Widow too. Finally, Natasha managed to pin Yelena. I'm not leaving, Natasha panted, until you agree to come home with me. Now that she knew who this was, Natasha wanted to help Yelena like she'd been helped so long ago. Yelena's eyes looked almost sad. A widow never fails, she said, quoting their motto in the Red Room. Suddenly, Yelena twisted out of Natasha's grip and escaped. But as she disappeared, a small device fell out of her pocket. Natasha picked it up. It was the tech everyone had been looking for. Hurry back to New York, you two, Tony said over the video comms after Fury and Natasha had updated him. I want to start analyzing that tech right away. He grinned at Natasha. Great work, Nat. You make us look good. Natasha smiled back. She should have known her teammates would never doubt her. Later that night, Natasha and Fury were stepping onto the Quinjet, but before she boarded, Natasha stopped and looked out into the fog. Natasha, Fury said, putting a hand on her shoulder. Let her go. You completed your mission. Natasha had told Fury what Yelena meant to her, but Natasha understood that even though her mission was complete, this journey was far from over. A widow never fails. Natasha had a feeling Yelena had dropped the device on purpose. For Natasha. Perhaps her little sister wasn't lost to her after all. Either way, Natasha knew she hadn't seen the last of Yelena Belova. The end.